Welcome back to CHQ in View. Today we're taking a deep dive in media with two special guests on the show, one from the world of sports and the other news. Today, to start, we welcome Jamestown native Jay Harris, executive producer for the Buffalo Bills. He's been rising through the ranks of sports media, producing content for One Bills Live's podcasts and live streams. Today he joins us to talk about his career and his time in sports media, of course, all things Buffalo Bills. Jay, thanks for joining us. First, growing up in Jamestown, how do you think that shaped your upbringing and helped you bring to where you are today?
That's a good question. I think being from Jamestown, being a smaller kind of town, but being so close to Buffalo, it almost kind of kept me at a distance from professional sports, being the Bills and Sabres, but also kept me kind of close. So it was always a challenge for me to figure out, like, okay, how can I get to Buffalo? How can I work for the teams or cover the teams that I love so much and share that passion? So just having the opportunities and knowing that it was kind of closer than I thought, and then figuring out how I can get those opportunities, whether it's through schooling or other internships, kind of worked out in a benefit for me.
That's super cool. And so now you work with the Buffalo Bills. You used to work with the Sabres. How does that differ from your job at the Sabres now working at the Buffalo Bills?
So I actually worked twofold. The umbrella that owned the team at the time was called Pagula Sports and Entertainment. So they owned all the entities underneath. So Bills, Sabres, Bandits, even their record label. So working for both teams was really unique opportunity for me because I grew up both a Bills and Sabres fan. So it was pretty cool to kind of dip my toes into both those sports. So it was a unique aspect where you can kind of involve yourself in the hockey side of things as well as the football side. And whether you treat them equally or not, I mean, some people will put the NFL at kind of a higher level. So you kind of get that awe aspect of things. But then to covering hockey, where I grew up and I played hockey, was really kind of a cool experience for me. And on top of that, you're kind of overwhelmed with both sports. So it was a challenge at the same time because you had to cover the NHL. You had to be up to date on everything that was going on with that team. And then on the other side, you had to be kind of in depth and in the pool with the Buffalo Bills and the NFL as a whole as well. So the challenge was there, but it was a really cool experience for me. And now, obviously, I'm situated strictly with the Bills, which is an awesome ride right now as they're playing well, and it makes my job a little easier, right?
Sure. So you work for just the Bills now. I asked you this question before, but I thought it was interesting for other people to know. When you're doing home games, how many people work on your media team to create the package for the TV and the Steve Tasker show that you run?
Yeah, so there's a lot. I'll start on game day. There's a lot of production staff because I kind of piggyback off the production staff that's doing the scoreboard show. So if you're in game and you're at the stadium, whatever's on the scoreboard is what is being broadcast out on the scoreboard. There's probably 50 people, 50 personnel that are working to put on that broadcast, whether it comes from the graphics, the replays that you see, to fan engagement pieces, to sponsor pieces. And then also it works in two-hand where they're showing replays. You have to be cognizant of showing the coaching staff to make sure that they're seeing a replay. If a guy has 2 feet in bounds, you need to make sure you give them that opportunity to see that. So just in case they need to throw a challenge flag. So there's a lot that goes into that sort of aspect of it when we were in game, but post game, those same guys will pull highlights for me, and I will come up with discussion points and talk to the talent, Maddie Glab, who's our Bills team reporter, and Steve Tasker, Wall of Famer, former All-Pro special teamer for the Buffalo Bills, to come up with talking points for the game. And then when the game's done, we'll kind of segment it just like you guys do here on this program, and we'll have video to go along with it, and then any creative pieces, whether it's a player spotlight or game highlights, we'll put those together as well. So it's kind of all inclusive and everybody kind of takes my lead a little bit, but I also allow for creative freedom as well. If somebody has an idea that might be cool or a shot or something that happened at halftime of the game, whether it's a Frisbee or Corgi race, which is also very popular, sometimes I can incorporate that into my show if I have time for it, but only if they win, right? It would be kind of silly if they lost and we're doing those funny things. So
growing up in Jamestown, now you're on a huge production. booing at the home games, and I was wondering about, so when you're doing the away games as well,
Yeah,
how many people do those? Because thought you mentioned you said it was a very low amount, and I was wondering how that
it
occurs.
is. So it's a stripped down staff, but because of technology on the road and the ability to with our replay systems to bring in highlights, so there's probably eight of us, and that includes the talent that does road games. I'll go to the stadium in our production house in our control room, and we'll do the same thing. I'll go over topics and talking points and pull highlights and communicate that to my video replay assistant, and then any graphic information, whether it's stats or bullet points or injury updates or any talking points that go on the bottom of the screen that I need to reference. I'll communicate all that. I have an awesome staff who can put this stuff together, and we'll do an hour post game show that we stream called Bills Post Game Live, and then we'll break down and do a more structured post game show called Bills Tonight, which airs on MSG following the game at 11:30 that night, and then throughout the week as well. So it's a little bit different, but we have the ability to take live feeds from wherever we're playing. So Houston last week, I'm able to get sound, I'm able to get video, I'm able to get reaction all on site instantaneously, and I'm able to turn that around for our post-game shows. So it's like we have a full staff on the road, but we really don't. I'm just able to transmit that through some pretty cool technology.
So growing up a huge Buffalo fan, now running these huge events and big games, what does it feel like now giving guys like Steve Tasker their vacation hours?
Yeah, so for me growing up, Steve Tasker, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, those were my heroes, right? Like I looked up to those people when I watched games. Never would have thought in a million years that I'd be working with them, and then they, sometimes if they listen to me, I can tell them what to do. But you mentioned that growing up, I love Steve Tasker. He was my favorite player growing up, and the butt of my joke is that now I approve his vacation time, which is just surreal to me. So talking about that and going on this show right now kind of humbles me a little bit and kind of gives me a chance to reflect on what I'm able to do on a daily basis, the path that I've gone on, and kind of a full circle of what I'm able to do on a daily basis. It's cool, and I don't take it for granted. And having conversations like this is really, really awesome because I'm not breaking rocks, right? I'm doing something that I love. It's a passion of mine, and I'm kind of feeding the Bills Mafia in a sense on a daily basis, which is kind of cool because if I was on the other side of things, not doing this, I'd be all about it. I'd be tuning in. I'd be watching every second of it. I'd be soaking it all up. So to be a part of that is really, really awesome. And the chance that I can to feed back to my hometown in Jamestown and kind of maybe give a little bit of motivation to those that want to follow in my footsteps or at least kind of come into this path is awesome. It's awesome.
That's super cool. And I have one more question for you. Sure. What advice would you give to someone, say, like us at CTV, young, up and coming, trying to get into the sports media name? How could you make a name for yourself and get those higher up jobs?
So
like the one that
you asked me about my path, right, to getting to this point, and that's a big part of it, right? Finding yourself there. But once you're there, how are you going to re-engage yourself? How are you going to stay connected? How are you going to re-engage that passion that you had when you first started? That's the big part of it because it's a career, right? You want to make it a career. You want to be doing this for 30, 40 years, even if you have the chance. So how do you wake up every day? How do you go to work and make it exciting and want to do it every single day? Because you're mixing work with play a little bit, right? Like this is a passion that I have, but it's still, there's the work aspect of it. So being comfortable with being uncomfortable is something that I'll tell people all the time. Challenge yourself, dip your toes in every single aspect that you can, be versatile, never knock down an opportunity if it comes to you, and then don't overwhelm yourself. The mental side of thing is huge. Take a step back, take a breath, have fun, and keep yourself engaged. I always say find ways to keep yourself engaged, whether that's trying new things or developing new programs or connecting with different people to have resources, mentors, that's huge as well. And just kind of getting a full grasp on what you're doing, whether it's in news or anything. This is just advice in life, but making sure that you're readily engaged and that you're creative and that you're willing to do whatever it takes to kind of help others out and then help yourself out too as you're growing up.
I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jay Harris, Jamestown high school grad and Buffalo Bills producer. Jay, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us today about your journey through media.
Jackson, it's been a pleasure. Go Bills.
Go Bills.